Golf is good for your health. Yeah, Swedish researchers say that. They say those who play the links may extend their life by up to 5 years. A round of golf means being outside for 5 or maybe even 4 hours and walking from hole to hole. That's good exercise. People play golf into old age, which doctors say adds a positive social and psychological aspect to their well-being. So play golf.
All right, practicing my swing. Little chip. No ball, you're fine, you're good. We are talking about golf and back injuries. A lot of folks getting out there. Are you warming up properly? Are you doing the proper, I guess, support exercises? We're talking with Dr. Alex Vadan from Vadan Family Chiropractic about golf and injuries. And it's not only the back. A new study said that 28% of golfers complain of back pain?
Yeah, that's from the Titleist Performance Institute, and what they ended up finding is that 28% of those golfers actually have low back pain on a consistent, persistent basis. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that what they're doing is that they are doing the proper things to stay out there on the course. Make sure that they're doing what they need to do in order to be able to enjoy their time out there.
A lot of folks who may not be golfers just go, what is it? You're just kind of swinging and you're keeping, right. But you're really torquing the spine and the supporting muscles.
Absolutely. There's a whole lot of rotation that happens in that low back, and so there's a lot of torque like you mentioned. And when that happens, the structure itself, that's the foundation that everything, that spine is the foundation that everything else is built off of. And so we've got to make sure that we're stretching, and we've got to make sure that we're taking care of that spine to keep it moving in the right direction. So I like what you're doing, going in the opposite direction, right? We always swing one way, so going to where you're moving in the opposite direction.
And I like doing this before I golf.
Yep, good rotation.
You got to kind of loosen up the torso. I try to be smart about it, but let's be honest, you get sore. 18 holes is a lot.
Right.
And, you know, like the 100-something strokes I might take during an entire round, it really takes a toll on the back.
It does. So stretching the hamstrings really helps, because usually what we find is that while the low back is the area that ends up seeing the most amount of the problems, really the problems are coming from other areas too. So it could be coming from above it in the thoracic spine, right?
Well, let me ask you, if you do have a little hammy issue, if you kind of torque your hamstring or something, how does that kind of migrate up to the back? How does that work?
That's a great question. So it attaches, that hamstring attaches into those glutes and into your pelvis. And whenever we have that pulling, if you imagine that pelvis and that spine is the foundation that everything else is built off of, if this area isn't working correctly, then we're going to modify the way that our mechanics are in our swing. When we start to modify our swing, then that's going to then affect that area too. So while the problem in the low back might be the spot that you're noticing the most and needs to be corrected, we also need to look at the other ancillary areas too to make sure we correct those too.
But let's be honest, some golfers would say, don't mess with my swing, doc. They'd rather keep their swing the way it is and damage themselves than go to get the treatment. Do you see a lot of golfers?
And we do see a lot of that. The problem is this, is that while they're giving in the long term, they end up having more problems. So then what they end up doing is to say, you know what, instead of me playing 2 rounds today, I'm only going to play 1. You know what, instead of whenever we go to drive, I won't drive, I'll just drop where you are. You know, they start digging into where they start saying, I'm not going to do as much of my playing as what I normally would, so you start giving up that time.
Final question, it's getting hot again. How important is hydration for muscle support?
Oh, hydration is huge. You've got to make sure that you hydrate, and only water counts, right? So I end up talking. Yeah, only water counts. You know, your teas, your soda, your beer, that doesn't count. Yeah, that doesn't count. It's the water that counts.
Are you watching me on the links? What are you doing? You're kind of creeping on me, man. All right, good. With some good advice. And again, 28% of the folks who golf from that Titleist study, that's pretty important stuff. So we're going to keep swinging right into Glenn, and I'm guessing, Glenn, a lot of folks would be on the golf courses today, right?
I would think so. Today's going to be gorgeous. Already good to be outside here early this morning.